I wanted to just take a little bit of time to go over this comparing and contrasting research methods table. It's due at the end of next week. Those of us who have face-to-face class, we're actually working on it in class some this week together, but I just wanted to give you this kind of overview so you could go back and look at it as you're completing it. And then for those of you guys in the RN to BSN program. So you'll use primarily chapters 9 and 14 to complete this information. So what I want you to do, your qualitative research methods, you have phenomenology, grounded theory, ethnography, and then down here, historical. You'll go to your chapter 14, and you'll just write in the definition and purpose. Let's skip over this type of research question just for a minute and go to the defining characteristics of this type of design. That will come from your book chapter or from the PowerPoint lecture that I have posted. You can get some of that information from it. So you fill in the defining characteristics, and then I want you to look at the level of evidence. When you look at the level of evidence, let me find it, I want you to use this evidence hierarchy. I lost my word for a minute. This is the one from your book. If you just Google one or look one up online, you're going to find that they're all completely different. So I want you to use this one and use what is inside the pyramid. So just as a little FYI, if you look closely at this, a single in-depth qualitative study, so that's any qualitative study, is a level 7. So that might help you when you're filling out your level of evidence for qualitative. The others, you're going to have to look at some of those for a single randomized control trial is right here. It's a level 2. A quasi-experimental trial is right here. When you get into the non-experimental, you might have to kind of look through these and see where they fall. But your qualitative are all right here. So that's just a little free help there for your levels of evidence. So after you fill out that part, then your research question, I want to go back to that. You can make up your own from your phenomenology. Or for each of these, you can make up your own that you think would fit a phenomenology. What I do not want you to do is use the sample questions and the sample research that are in your textbook. The other thing that you can do, if you don't want to make up your own, is when you go to look up your reference, then you can use the research question from the article that you find. So let me show you how to get to those articles. So I'm pulling up the ECU website, and we're going to go to the library. And then we're going to go to library research guides. When you get there, you'll click on nursing and nursing research. This is all of you guys can use my nursing research one because you all do the same type research project for this class. So this is our librarian, Casey Lowry. For you guys in RN to BSN, she is supposed to be working on a video for me to post for you guys on how to use this entire site. She hasn't got that done yet, but she's working on that, and we'll get that sent to me soon. If you want to talk to her about anything, she is awesome. She will help you with anything you need, and she'll also look at your APA. So if you get this document done early, you can send it to her. She'll critique your APA and give you points on how to make it better, and then you can send it in and get 100 on the APA part. That'd be an awesome use of her. So what you're going to do for finding your articles is click on search, and then I would suggest using this CINAHL search bar first. So let me look back really quickly at what we're looking at here. So we're looking at a phenomenology first. Just a little hint, a lot of research, especially qualitative research, will kind of give you a hint to their research design in the title of the article. So when you're searching for your article, if you type in phenomenological, let me take my caps lock off just because it bugs me. And if you just type in phenomenology, then you're going to get a lot of stuff on how to do a phenomenological research project. You don't want that. You want an actual phenomenological study. So it's better if you type in phenomenological. Click search. And then you have to wait. So you'll have to log in. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see the whole thing. So you log in with your ECU credentials. And remember what she said, for those of you who have had her, you want to limit it to peer-reviewed journals. So over here on the left-hand side, you want to click peer-reviewed. And then you want to limit your research to about the last 5 years. You can scroll over, or you can just type it in either way. So we've done that. So now we have these awesome articles that come up that say Intersubjectivity in Nursing Students' Care of Hospitalized Infants, a Phenomenological Study. Nursing in the Individual in a Hemodialysis Onset, a Phenomenological Study. This one is not going to be good because this is talking about the actual type of research. So here's another one. The lived experience of people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a phenomenological study. So if they say something like that, then that's going to be your cue. Hey, I can use this article. So what I want you to do at that point is go look at the full text. Might take a second to flip. Be sure before you give this to me is read through at least the abstract. I'm not expecting you to read these entire articles at this point, but read through the abstract. And the abstract will always be at the first of the article. They're not always lined out like this. That's really nice. But it'll be a short narrative about what this whole article is about. So here's the purpose. This study explored the lived experiences of people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease following hospitalization for acute exacerbation of pneumonia. Let's look back at this. So what research question might you use? What is the lived experience of, I'll have to go back and look, people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease following hospitalization for acute exacerbation or pneumonia? That's your research question. You can pull it straight from this article, and it's usually, like I said, under the purpose area. Then it talks about the design. So here's a phenomenological approach was adopted to collect data through semi-structured interviews. So, okay, it's telling you that this is a phenomenology. It kind of goes through. So later on, when we get into actually appraising articles, you'll have to read the whole thing and understand everything. But right now, I just want you to be able to find what we're looking for. And that's what we're doing here. So then, this requires an example reference in APA format, and then some way for me to be able to look at it and make sure that you got what you were supposed to get. So the way to do that, over here, on the other, you can see this on the other side of my recording, there's a little button here that's a cite button. If you click it, it looks like a little paper. Right here is the APA citation for, let me scroll up, the APA citation for this article. So all you have to do is copy and paste it. Then you go back to your document and you copy and paste it into the document. And there it is. Now, what you do want to do is go in and fix it, because just because you copy and paste it from here doesn't mean it's necessarily right. So make sure that you go in and make sure all of this is right. See, this is all incorrect because the article title should be all lowercase. It should be like sentence case. So you want to go in and correct all of these things. Okay? I'm not going to take time to do all of them. You get it. Be sure and reference the OWL at Purdue or our library site and make sure that you have this right. Send it to Casey at the library, our librarian, and have her look it over and make sure that it's right. So after you do that, I still can't access it from that. So if you'll click over here on the little chain, this is the permalink. If you'll click on it, right up here at the top, it gives you the link to access it. You can copy and paste that. And just right after your reference, you can put that permalink, and then when you turn this in to me, all I have to do is click on the link and I can see the article that you found and actually look at it and make sure that it's a phenomenology and that you have the right article. So that is what you'll do for every one of these. It sounds like more as I'm explaining it, but when you get in there and work on it, it doesn't take a long time. You should have read your book chapters before this is due. I've made recordings for you, and you have the PowerPoints on the recordings that go over all of this research, each one of these types. So you need the definition and purpose. It doesn't have to be the whole chapter on it, but it can be just a short explanation of what makes this different than the rest. Your defining characteristics, your level of evidence, which will just be a number, and then your research question, which you may write your own that doesn't have to be related to your article, or you can take one from your article, which I would suggest because that's where you're going to have one that's good. So you do the same thing with each of those. Like I said, most qualitative is going to have the type of research in the title. So you can search for grounded theory, you can search for ethnography, you can search for historical. Now, when you get into quantitative, it's not always as easy. Occasionally it will have, a descriptive study. But you need to be very careful that you're not doing like a narrative descriptive study that would be a qualitative, but that it's actually a quantitative study. And just another, quasi-experimental will usually be in the title too of these kind. Experimental research, you might think you could just go in and type in experimental. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. You can type in, though, randomized controlled trial and search that. And it pulls up all of these articles that say volume targeted versus pressure limited non-invasive ventilation in subjects with acute hypercapnic respiratory failure, a multi-center randomized controlled trial. That is telling you that this is experimental research. And again, like I said, you want to go, this one actually has the abstract here, but it's easier to read if you go to PDF full text and pull it up, and you can read that abstract and make sure that it is an experimental trial, but it really limits what you have to look for. So here's your abstract, and like I said, quantitative, you're going to see lots of these numbers and things that you're like, what the heck is that? That's usually a good sign that you're in quantitative research. So be looking for those. Same thing with it, you can cite from here, and then you can attach the permalink so that I can find the article that you select. What I didn't do on this one that I should have is, I didn't see when this article was written, but you always need to limit to peer-reviewed and within the last 5 years. You can also click full text, and it will give you only documents that you can access the full text of online. That will help you. So anyway, I think that is about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that came up. Just be sure that you read those abstracts well. Make sure you have good articles that actually fit what you're looking for. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to give me there. All of you should do really well on this because I'm more than willing to look it over, especially for you RN to BSN students who haven't gotten to work with me face-to-face in class on this. If you want to fill it out, do the very, very best you can. And if you think you have everything right, if you send it to me I would say probably by Monday of next week, even if you wanted to just do a couple and send to me and say, am I on the right track? Then I will have time to look at those and get it back to you before they're due the next week. So just make sure that you can't send it to me the day before it's due and me have time to look over everything and tell you if it's right or not. You got to give me some time. The other thing is make good use of our librarian, Casey. She's more than willing to help. She can help you also. You could send her an article and say, hey, is this kind of study? Is this what I should be looking for? I need to find this kind of study. And she can help you with that as well. And she usually has a really quick turnaround time too. So hope this helps with you completing this, and I will look forward to seeing you guys all again soon.